Ukemi, your teacher says, go up and down the mat and do rolls for 20 minutes, and that's the extent of Ukemi in your dojo, right? No. Ukemi is such an important job. It, in some ways, is more important than being the tori. The tori is usually the person that does the technique. The uke is the one who receives, coming from the verb ukeru. Most people, in a superficial way, think Ukemi is just rolling around on the mat, and that's part of it, but that is a small part. When you do Ukemi for your teacher or your training partner, it is a very honorable position. It is one that should not be taken lightly. You never want to feel that you are in the inferior role as the uke, or that you're not really getting any training in, you're just there for your friend. That is not it. Think of the Ukemi person as your best man at your wedding, or some sort of important role. When my teachers ask me to be their training partner, and they ask me to take Ukemi for them, they trust me. They trust that I can throw my body onto the mat and not hurt myself. They know that I can do rolling very, very well, and they know that I understand how the body moves when it is hit or kicked or struck in any way. How do you become a good person who does Ukemi at your dojo? Well, one of the things you need to do is roll a lot. You need to use this Tai-Hinjitsu and roll around on the mat a lot. You need to get good at falling so that whether you're on these nice mats or you're on wood or cement, you don't hurt yourself. Practicing rolling is a very, very important skill in martial arts, especially in one where you do some sort of heavy judo throws or joint locks or something. If you don't know how to do good Ukemi and how to receive the techniques, your bones will break, your head will smash, you will get concussions and things like that. So you have to know how to be very friendly with the mat. So what are some good things to do in your dojo so that you're a really good person who takes Ukemi? Well, one of the things you need to remember is you need to attack very well. If your teacher says hit him, you better hit him. I see a lot of videos where people doing Ukemi don't give good attacks to their teacher, or they fall for their teacher. You don't want to be kind of a wet noodly type of person that as soon as the master touches you, you fall down. And I've seen this way too much on YouTube. One good thing about YouTube is the community does not let you get away with anything. And if they see some sort of BS on there where the teacher is touching the opponent and the opponent falls down, or the opponent doesn't give a realistic attack, you will hear from your community. And in some ways, the person you're working with knows it's fake too. Sadly, we see this lately in some of the martial arts online. They're just getting lambasted because people in the West say that no one attacks that way. So if you see someone doing a straight ski punch and they never retract and they just leave it there, and the teacher teaches around that, in the West that's made fun of. It's called a ridiculous attack. Or doing some of these Aikido shomanuchis. Well, who out on the street attacks like that? You have to know the depth of where these attacks come from. The ski thrust comes from wearing armor. So modern American hook punches would not work against someone in armor. It would bounce off. So to do the ski thrust, you had to use your entire body to hit the opponent, to knock the opponent onto the dirt so you could take your sword out. In Aikido, this shomanuchi, this downward initial strike here, represents a sword attack, and it's how to take the flow. However, I agree, no one attacks this way. Everyone's close, modern, they want to shoot in and fight and take you to the ground. They're going to hit 10 times before you can blink, and no one punches and doesn't retract. They punch and retract immediately. All this stuff is important, and this is just one aspect of being a good person who does Ukemi, is giving a good attack to your teacher. And I expect my students, when I say punch or kick me, you better hit me. And I can't tell you how many times I have to correct them and say, my nose is here, why are you punching off to the side? Hit me here. And some students just don't want the teacher to look bad in case the teacher messes up. But if I tell you to hit me and I get hit, that's my fault, not the Ukemist's fault. It's my fault if I get punched in the nose. So when your teacher tells you to give them a good side kick or to come in and tackle them, don't do it at half force. Give it a good attack. At the same time, when you're taking ukemi, you have to know how to relax your body. If you're thrown to the ground and you tense up and you hold your breath, you will be injured severely. So make sure you learn how to breathe. Breathing when you take ukemi is unbelievably important. How to let the air out of your lungs and allow your body to absorb and receive the ground properly. If you tense up, you're going to smash your head on the ground. Learn how to tuck your chin in. Learn how to make your body very small. Stay flexible when you can. And understand how to roll back up onto your feet. This is Tai-Hin Jitsu. Another thing you want to do if you are going to receive ukemi with a training partner or your teacher or another fellow practitioner is make sure that you have a good attitude. No one likes an ukemi person who receives the technique and then starts to tell you what to do. So you can imagine if the teacher says, go and work on this technique, and you get with a partner and you shake hands and say, onegai shimasu, and then the person you're working with, you're the tori, they're the uke, they immediately start to teach you what the teacher just showed. There's nothing more annoying than a training partner who tries to lecture you after the teacher just showed you what to do, and everyone out there is raising their hand. Oh yeah, I know 10 guys at my dojo that do that. I saw a lot of that when I was in Japan last month. It seemed like almost everybody I was paired up with, the minute that these Japanese masters would show something and we go off and train, whoever I was with from whatever country started to lecture me on the technique and, okay, here's what you're going to do. You're going to hit me and you got to do this and make sure. I'm like, just shut up and let me train. Why are you lecturing me? And a lot of the times these guys only had about 10, 15 years of experience in, but I don't tell them how many decades of training I've had. So when you're taking ukemi, be humble. Be humble, not arrogant. Don't tell your friend what to do. Your friend just wants you to shut up so that he can train. That's all he wants. He wants a quiet person who does ukemi. Now, if he asks for feedback, that's wonderful. If you're training with your friend and your training partner says, hey, was that any good? Or did you take my balance here? Or you want to amp it up and say, hey, give me more resistance. That's perfectly fine. If the teacher says, give some more resistance to your training partner, that's good. You can do that. Don't give too much resistance right away, because what you're doing is you're giving a false sense of identity to your tori. In other words, when someone's a beginner and they're learning the technique, they're learning the mechanics of it, the biomechanics, I don't want to stiffen up and resist everything that they do, because no one's going to do that. You have to remember, when you give an attack, whatever the attack is, you know what the technique is going to be. Out in the street, they don't know what's going to happen. So if you're working with your training partner and your training partner says, sweep my leg, and you go to sweep the leg, and on the second sweep you start to resist and you don't let your training partner take you down because you're too lazy to go to the ground, or you've had a bad day, or you have indigestion or whatever, or you're just a jerk and you want to make your partner look bad. Out in the street, no one knows that you're going to do a leg sweep. No one knows that you're going to fake a right and hit with a left. No one knows that you're going to grab their eyelash and pull it. So the person doing ukemi, you have to remember to feel like the attack is fresh every single time. When I do ukemi for my teachers or even my students, I give the same good attack every time. I give just the right amount of resistance so that I'm not a wet noodle. At the same time, when the person hits my body, I react how a human out in the street's going to react. You don't act like Schwarzenegger and stand there when someone hits you in the jaw, or if they pretend to kick you in the groin and you stand there. No one's going to do that in the street. So being someone who's good at ukemi also has to be good at acting to a point. Not acting in the way that it's fake, but acting knowing how a body works biomechanically when it gets punched. If someone chops you in the neck, you don't stand there, you move. The techniques of the old days and the new were written depending on how the body moved when it was punched or struck or thrown. So these scrolls with the kata written say, punch here, body will do this. kick here because the body moved into this position. Move into this position because their feet moved when you kicked them. You have to know, as someone who does Ukemi, how to move your body in a good way. Philosophically, someone who does Ukemi is always learning how to fall and get back up. It is an extremely invigorating way to think about life. Every time I sacrifice my body for your growth as your training partner, I am learning how to fall and get back up. In essence, every time I punch you and I am thrown, I am reborn again and I get back up as a new and stronger opponent, a better martial artist, a better person. That's how you succeed in life, is failing and falling upwards. So it's no different on the mat. When someone throws me to the ground and I fall and I get back up, I reset. It's like in a video game, I start fresh. And if you do that hundreds and thousands of times over the months and the years, you get unbelievably good at taking a fall, at failing and succeeding. You get really good at taking pain so that you don't become some wimpy person that immediately taps out when you feel pain in life. You get really good at solving problems in your life. You get good at using not just your body, but your mind in how to get out of situations. This is all part of being someone who is very good at receiving. Don't underestimate the importance of being a training partner to someone. You're sacrificing your body for their education and their knowledge. They are trusting you to be able to throw you so that they don't mess up the technique so they can go full speed and throw you. They are trusting you with their life when they're your training partner. You have to be very careful with who you work with, not to hurt and abuse them, because no one likes a training partner that hits so hard that you never want to be with them again. You have to be well liked as someone who does Ukemi. You want to be the first person when your teacher says, get a training partner. You want the person you want 5 people to run to you. Oh, I want to work with him. He's so good. He gives me just the amount of right resistance, yet he's so good at rolling. I can throw him hard. And he's not a jerk, and he doesn't lecture me on what to do, and he listens and he shuts up, and he asks good questions, and we laugh and have a good time. We're not taking this too seriously. This is the person you want to be at the dojo, someone who's liked. If you're the arrogant jerk that never wants to fall and who resists or who thinks he's too good to hit the mat or too good to fall, and he's just always lecturing you and he's arrogant and he always thinks he knows more than you do, that's the person who usually doesn't last very long in the martial arts and someone who is not well liked in the dojo. And they are out there. I'm sure you know several in your own dojo right now, or your training club. It doesn't matter. Again, this talk transcends all types of styles. It doesn't matter if you're rolling on the ground with your favorite MMA guy, or you're a Taekwondo person doing a competition, or you're a Budo guy doing sword to sword. It doesn't matter what discipline we train in. We need to be a good person who does Ukemi. Male or female makes no difference. You need to learn how to absorb, how to biomechanically move, how to shut up and not lecture your training partner, how to give just the right amount of resistance and to resist heavy when they tell you, how to give a heck of a good attack when they tell you, and not cheat your friend so that when they go out on the street they get their butt kicked because they never did the technique properly. Don't be one of these things we see on YouTube where the master obviously is fake, is just touching and the person goes flying. I see this a lot in some martial arts where they just touch with your finger and the guy goes flying. No, what you're doing is you're taking a fall you're trying not to embarrass your teacher, so you're taking the fall for them and it's not real. People out on the street that are drunk and high on drugs that weigh 350 pounds are not going to fall if you touch them with your fingers. You need to hit hard and sweep hard and put all of your energy into it. And a good person who does Ukemi is going to know how to do that. So for today, make sure you practice rolling in your dojo. Don't forget that skill. It's extremely important. Make sure you humble yourself as someone who takes Ukemi. Make sure you give good attacks and that your attitude is good and positive and that you're there to serve the person doing the technique with your body and your mind and your intellect. and make sure that you have a really good time and stay flexible. Until next time, continue to watch, continue to practice Ukemi, and have fun. See you later.